Hi there, I'm Chris Lee. I'm a senior copywriter and digital PR strategist. In this video we're going to cover how to write online articles and blog posts that really engage your audience. Firstly, just a bit about me. As well as working with large corporations and startups as a content consultant and copywriter, I've written for a variety of IT publications across my career, such as Computing, and I've had guest content appear on City AM, and in my free time I enjoy running a football culture site called Outside Right. When you're writing copy, it's helpful to follow a series of steps. These steps act as a framework for you when you're planning and writing your piece. Having a framework in place will help you work faster and communicate more clearly. You can also think of these copywriting steps as a checklist, so be sure you don't miss out on anything important as you're writing. Let's look at how you write impactful online content. First thing to be clear on is what you want to say. What's the message you want to get across? Is the written word even the best way to get that point across, or would a video or podcast be more effective? What's your message? And what's your key takeaway you want to result from it? This could be raising awareness of an issue or offering a counter opinion to something you've already seen. Next up, who's your audience? Once you're clear on what you want to get across, you need to think about your audience and who you're trying to speak to, and their level of understanding of the subject you're writing about. This will inform how you write your content and the details you need to include. Often, when the writer is very familiar with a product or subject, it's easy for them to fall into the trap of assuming the audience has the same level of knowledge or passion for the product as they do. All this will inform the tone of voice, the type of language, and also the anecdotal references that you include. You also need to use language and references that your audience will understand and can relate to. So think about who are they, what do they do, where do they live, what are they interested in, and who influences them. For a message to really hit home, we need to generate an emotional response. Why should your audience care about your content? How would you like them to respond to it? According to American psychologist Robert Plutchik, there are 8 key emotions that stimulate a response in people: joy, trust, fear, surprise, sadness, anticipation, anger, and disgust. So, for example, if you're a pressure group, you're looking to raise awareness of a topic such as deforestation, you'll probably focus on fear, anger, disgust, sadness. While if you're writing about the retail industry at Christmas, you'll aim to build joy and an element of surprise. We need to grab people's attention with a great headline. According to one study, traffic to an article or blog post can vary by up to 500% according to the headline. A headline or title's job is to entice the audience in to read that content. There are various ways to do this. For example, trigger curiosity. Everything you thought you knew about coffee is wrong. Ask a question. Do you know how coffee is made? Use impactful language. Your coffee tastes disgusting. Here's how to make an amazing cup of coffee. Use numbers or stats. 75% of coffee drinkers say X. Test my headlines. I use a free tool called Headline Analyzer by a company called Coschedule. Use an algorithm to work out how impactful your headline is. You can play around with it until you get a really good score. Okay, so now we know what we want to communicate, who we're communicating with, and how we're going to entice people in to read our content. Now we need them to read it in its entirety. Research finds that 79% of people will scan a new page, so just 16% will read an article word by word from the screen. Also remember, a great number of your readers will probably be reading from a mobile device. Typically, time spent on screen will depend on the size of that screen, so visitors from desktop or laptop will usually spend longer on a site than a tablet device user or mobile users, probably because the content is smaller and the user is more likely to be in a mood to graze their content. It's therefore very important we break that content up. Here's an example structure. It has our enticing headline with a stand first, a paragraph summary, that includes all the key messaging that we want to get across, plus enough to tempt the reader on. It's essential that the key message is up front because, as we've seen, more often than not, people will either graze the content or not even make it to the end. We then need to break that content up to make it grazable and easy to consume. So think about using images, subheadings, bullet points, infographics, large pull-out quotes to break that copy up and make it as easy as possible to read from a mobile device. After summarizing all your points in the stand first, the rest of the piece is up to you, but you should follow a story arc. This often includes the problem, the jeopardy up front, and moves towards a resolution at the end. Finally, include a call to action. What do you want people to do with the content? If you want them to get in touch, put a way down that they can do that, say email, social media, etc. Quality control. Before we publish, we need to make sure our content is grammatically correct and easy to understand. There are some great free and paid for tools that we can use, such as Grammarly and Hemingway app. These and other tools will highlight when, for example, spelling errors or sentences are too long, or if you use passive tense, and they can also make an estimate of how complex your language and vocabulary are. Once you're happy with your copy, don't publish it straight away, especially if you're not 100% sure how it will be perceived. Remember, things like irony and humour are very subjective, and some of the audience might interpret your words differently. Sit on the copy for 24 hours and ask someone completely unconnected to the project to read it and see what they think. Overall, the more you write, the more you'll find your voice and a style that suits you. The best writers are big readers too, so be sure to absorb a wide range of reading material. The best way to improve your writing is to practice and to practice consistently. Loads more guides over on the Morley College website, which is athome.morleycollege.ac.uk. Thanks for watching.